All right, good evening. This is the City of South Fulton's Community Zoning Information Meeting for Monday, December 1st, 2025. It is now 6:09. We're going to get started. First, to go over some housekeeping items. Please refrain from talking unless you are the speaker. Please be respectful at all times. Please keep your questions and comments relevant to the topics of tonight's meeting. Please wait for the presenter to finish before asking questions and/or stating your comment. Any follow-up comments can be emailed to the planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov email. Some important dates to keep in mind. All rezoning and special use permits will be had a public hearing for the Planning Commission on January 21st, 2025. The Mayor and City Council public meeting will be February 10th, 2026. There's also a public participation plan report that is due January 7th, 2025. Again, all applicants must meet all deadlines and attend each public hearing in person. This is an example of a public participation plan report. So as mentioned, the public participation plan report is due by January 7th. On the screen, you can see this is a postcard. It's an example of a postcard that we would like for you all to send out. And on the right-hand side is an example of our Form E, which is in our rezoning application.
And to give some additional guidelines on the public participation meeting, of course, with your application, the meeting date, time, and location should have been provided. The meeting must be conducted in person within 5 miles of the subject property and within the municipal boundaries of the City of South Fulton. Applicants shall provide for the meeting to be conducted through audio-visual teleconferencing technology that permits all attendees to communicate with the applicants and each other. We must review the mailers before they are sent out, and these notices are required to be sent out at least 30 days before your public participation meeting. And as stated before, your public participation report is due on July 7th. And also, you are required to send a copy of your letter of intent, any required site plan, and the date, time, and location of your public participation meeting to all City of South Fulton council members. And that's supposed to be sent out to them also 30 days before your meeting, at least.
On the screen is our 2026 rezoning and special use schedule. As you can see where the first blue arrow is, we are in cycle 1. The highlighted portion is our CZIM meeting today. And then I mentioned those public hearings before. The first case we have is U26-0010 Cochrane Road. I believe that applicant is here, so we're going to circle back. The next case we have is U26-002 7600 Hall Road. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to operate an outdoor animal kennel in AG1 zoning district. This is in Council District 4. Is the applicant ready?
Hi, I'm Abigail Van Horn on behalf of Atlanta Film Animals, and we're requesting a special use permit, as you said, to create kennels on the property. Currently, the property is very large. It's more or less 50 acres. And my client is in the film industry, and they provide animals that appear in films. Like anytime you see any sort of animal in a film, that's the kind of thing. So they have some dogs on the property, they've got some pigeons, they've got an owl, things like that. And so right now, the current agricultural zoning requires a special use permit for them to have kennels on the property, and that is what we are seeking in order to obtain a business license so they can do business here in Georgia. On the screen, you've got the survey of the property, and you can see that it's very large. There's just a couple of kennels. It's not clicking through.
Yeah, it's not looked
at. Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, that's more or less it. That's what we're doing. If she clicks through the PowerPoint presentation, we'll see some photos of the property. There's a total of 7 kennels. Yeah, you'll see it's a very large piece of land. It's a photo of the kennel with the monkeys and the owls. I think it's also worth noting, as I said, that the total land is about 50 acres. And my client owns all attaching parcels of land, so there's no one nearby at all. Any questions?
All right, thank you for your presentation. Is there any questions from the audience? Is there any questions from staff?
Are any of these structures within 200 feet from the property line?
Yeah, so the predecessor in title, or perhaps their predecessor before, I'm not entirely sure, but somewhere along the way, the property was split up from an entire tract into, a conglomerate of tracts, and my client bought 5 parcels, and as I said, they own all of the total land as a part of it. The back barn, and you'll see it more clearly on the survey, is right on the property line of the front of one of their parcels. But again, they own the back parcel. So in the very worst case scenario, we could combine the parcels and sort that out. But again, I think it's a very old barn. It certainly predates my client's involvement, and I would ask for it to be considered grandfathered in.
Do you know when that barn was built?
I don't know the specifics. I believe it predated the 80s, but I'm not entirely sure a way to find that out for certain.
And how many kennels? So how many kennels total will you have on the property?
7.
7?
Yes, sir.
And what are the sizes? Or will they range in size? Will be a standard size?
They range in sizes, yes.
And I know that in your presentation you have listed the types of animals that you have, but just for the public's edification, could you please go over the type of animals that you will be
Sure.
housing?
There's some monkeys, there's skunks, seagulls, doves, there's some dogs, there's a pig who is apparently both indoor and outdoor. There's a goat, there's some chickens, some sheep, some raccoons, a barn cat, which I don't think that the barn cat is involved in the movies. And then there's a cockatoo, and then an owl.
Do you foresee you having any other animals that is not currently listed in the near future?
I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to procure animals, but I'd be happy to ask them and circle back with you.
All right, thank you. Did you have any questions for us?
I do not.
All right. Again, some important dates to keep in mind. That public participation plan report is due January 7th. I say January 7th. The Planning Commission meeting hearing is January 21st, 2025, and the mayor and council public hearing is February 10th, 2026. January 21st, 2026. Got it.
And just going back to that public participation plan report information, the report is due January 7th. And your meeting, hopefully you're close to sending out mailers or have sent out mailers. Please let us know after the meeting if you haven't received addresses or anything like that. But the meeting must be conducted in person, but also conducted through an audiovisual teleconferencing technology. The meeting must be held at least within a 5 miles of the subject property and within the municipal boundaries of the city of South Fulton. And we must review all mailers before they're sent out, and it must be sent out to our city council a minimum of 30 days prior to your scheduled meeting.
All right, if that is not all, again, last call for 0 Cochran Road. And then 0 Campbellton Road. All right, seeing none, that will conclude our CZIM meeting for today. We all thank you for choosing the city of South Fulton.